Welcome to Clear Path to Retirement. My name is Cynthia 𝗱𝙁𝙁. I'm joined today by Cory 𝗍𝙗𝘁. He is founder of ClearPath Wealth Advisors. Cory, how are you today?
Wonderful. Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to be with you today because I know that you have such an important information-filled show today. Obviously, we talk about a very important topic every week. And in case someone is watching for the very first time, our show is always about proper planning for retirement.
That's right. Trying to get you a clear path to retirement is really the deal. And life always throws things at us. So being able to have a plan and how to react is a great way to feel confident as you walk forward in life.
And I love the fact that it's clear path, because let's talk about that. Why is it important to have a clear path specifically in retirement?
Because life changes, life is different for us in retirement. We don't have a job. Yeah. Maybe you do, but you don't have income coming in from any place other than Social Security or yourself. So we can't bounce back as fast. We also, our time horizon has changed. You know, it's different from a 20-year-old to a 60 or a 70-year-old, right? The way the world is going to be there for us, it's going to change. So having a plan allows us to adapt. And that makes it a lot easier for us to meet the challenges that can arise.
Sure. A lot of people that call in from the show, Cory, are you finding that they don't have any plan at all, or are they just getting statements out of the mail?
We get a wonderful mix of folks, and all walks of life too. We've got multimillionaires, we've got folks that are paycheck to paycheck, and really everybody has a different situation. There are some people that have a plan, but they're not talking about planning. I don't know if that makes sense, but that means they have investments, but they don't know how to turn those investments into income. They don't have any tax planning, and that's pretty standard. There's wonderful advisors out there that don't give tax advice. They rely on the CPA. We just happen to kind of bring all that stuff in-house where we're doing a lot of tax planning. So yeah, we'll have people come in with statements and like, I don't know how it works. Yeah. And we've got other people that are like, yeah, I think I've got a plan. I just want to make sure it makes sense. I think one of the really interesting things is a surprising comment. Well, not surprising to me, I hope, but we get a lot of people that will ask, why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? Ooh, whether it's a conversion or thinking about taxes, or, man, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not hearing that. Or no one's talking to me about the investments this way. Right. Because, again, sometimes we think about investments as just a thing that's going to grow. That's it. Yeah. But we need different investments to work differently.
Especially in the retirement years. That brings up a very good point. So how important is it, Cory, for people to work with someone who specializes in the distribution phase of life when approaching retirement versus the accumulation years, if you will?
It's incredibly important, because I think a lot of times, and I'll use real simple language, I think a lot of times we think about our money as like a pile. All right, just a pile of money. I've got X amount of dollars, okay, and that's what I'm going to live on. I have to take a certain amount out every year to be okay, or X, Y, Z. I think it's more important to section that money off, give it purpose. What's our income dollars? What is our near-term savings dollars? What's our later or pass-on money? Each of those should be treated differently. Sure. And then they should each be in a different tax standpoint. And I said, instead of thinking about it as a pile, if we think about it as a pile, the moves we make seem inconsequential. But why would you take money from your largest account when you can take money out of a smaller tax-efficient account? So an example I use sometimes with this is, if you've got a $500,000 account and a $50,000 account, and they both get a 5% return, all right, they both got the same return. Right. But they didn't get the same amount of dollars put back into them, right? Right. So why would I make that $500,000 account smaller by taking withdrawal? Exactly. The $50,000 one might not matter as much. That's true. So it's just kind of considering all of those things is an important part in planning. And I think that's one of some of the clarity that an advisor can bring is, what's my money's job? And sometimes we'll give my clients or the families that we work with, we'll give them an assignment. I was just talking to one, they're moving to Tennessee. They want to keep working with us, which is great. I really like them. And what I told him is he's got a bunch of company stock, quite a bit. And I said, you need to start thinking of purpose for those dollars. And what I mean by that is it's such a big part of his portfolio that it's overweight, and if something goes wrong with the company, there could be a little extra risk. And I said, we can get smart about how we take this out from a tax standpoint, but do you want this to pay for your next house? Do you want to cover college for your kids? Do you want to give to charity? Give it purpose, because then it's not just some number on a statement, right? It's an actual thing. Like, oh, this is our charitable account. Oh, so whatever happens, that we know is going to good. And that's, sometimes planning is just reorganizing.
Sure, sure. I love that philosophy. Let's talk about retirement not being one size fits all. Why is it not one size fits all? Like going in to buy a sweatshirt when you're cold and you get the extra large and it fits almost everyone. Why is retirement different?
That's a good analogy. I think it's different for everybody because everybody's life is different. And I think it's as simple as that. There are some rules out there, like the 4% rule. What that means is you take 4% of the investments you have every year to pay for your bills and stuff. And if you do that, your money will last X amount of years. That's all fine and dandy when we've got a level market or an increasing market. The problem is if your income solution is just taking from your investments and they're fluctuating, you're grabbing more and more in a down market than you want to, a higher percentage of your assets, that when it bounces back, it's not there. So I think that as like a rule, and that's been a traditional rule for a long time, might not make sense. So if we personalize it to you, that's why we ask our questions, we get to know you, we do all these things. Now you've got a plan that's yours. It fits your age, your risk, your spending, all of it.
So the 60-40 portfolio, is that kind of being pushed aside now, Cory, overall?
It can be. It still works. It still doesn't. 60-40 portfolio is 60% in equities, so stuff that goes up and down kind of fast, and the other part in like fixed income, a little more steady. I don't know if that's providing enough return for people anymore. I don't know if, so what we really need to look at is how do you feel about risk? How do you want your money to move? And how can we get it there the best way? And I think a 60-40 might be how you end up, but we still have to go back on beating the drum on purpose. If we know that this account's job is to give us income, well then that needs to be our safest account, because we need income. If inflation's going up, if all these other things, we have to lock that in.
Sure.
Changes the way we think about the rest of your money.
Absolutely. And what certain things should people be considering changing their perspective about, Cory, especially when approaching the retirement years? How should their perspective change?
Well, I think one is that there's a saying, man plans, God laughs. You know, we have to be really careful about thinking that what happened before is going to happen again. And we have to be careful about thinking what hasn't happened before will never happen again, or will never happen.
True.
So when we think that my wife and I are going to live and we're going to die on the same day like in some movie, it's probably not going to happen. So we need to make sure that she understands our financial situation, that she is prepared for different taxation, that my family understands what we want to happen with the money, and they're in the best position possible. So I think a lot of times we put our head in the sand and we dream and we think that's what it's going to be. And it's okay to dream, but let me be realistic and create a plan or work with you to have options for when things change.
That makes sense. I should ask you, Cory, what does having a plan do as far as helping people have confidence? Why is it so important to have a plan in retirement, in your own words?
Yeah, well, you're not looking for the things that you need to survive. You know, if you think about running out of the house fast and forgetting your keys, or scrambling, you're going to trip, you're going to fall, you're going to make these mistakes. When we know where everything is, when you have a fire, my family, we have a fire plan, right? So if we know where we're going. If someone's in the house, we know where the kids are going. We've got a plan, because when bad stuff happens, we know what to do, and that's what a plan is. We want you to live the life you want to live, but let's make sure that we've got guardrails and all the things protected that we need protected. I think that's really what we're talking about.
Thank you, Cory. I know you have a very special offer to present to the viewers at home today. Let's talk about what that is before we open up the phone lines.
Well, we would love to offer to anybody that is watching a chance to have a conversation with us and do an investment analysis. We want to look at a risk standpoint. We want to look at a diversification standpoint. We want to look at a tax standpoint. Give you a good idea of what the next 5 to 10 years might look like for you. So please give us a call and start that conversation.
Cory, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen, and that number is 844-406-8011. We know you have a lot of questions for Cory about how to plan your perfect retirement. He has the answers for you, and you want to be on the clear path to retirement. Again, the number is 888-406-8011. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go? And who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to ClearPath to Retirement. My name is Cynthia 𝗱𝙁𝙁. I'm joined today by Cory 𝗱𝙁𝙁. He is founder of ClearPath Wealth Advisors. Cory, a great show we're having today talking about the importance of planning for retirement. But I have to ask you, what's the hurry? Why are you so passionate about people planning for retirement today?
Well, what's here today is gone tomorrow, and I think we have to take advantage of rules. And so all of our planning is essentially rules-based, and if we know tax code the way it is today, if we know the way that a bunch of things are working, we need to take advantage. So, for example, the current tax code, we've got the 10% tax bracket, the 12, the 22, the 24. Well, those go away in 2025. It becomes 15, 25, so tax brackets are going up. Now is an important time to start doing a Roth conversion because you can save 3%. I mean, that even something as simple as that.
Okay.
And now we're in a very flex year, so midterm elections. Everybody's going to have sound bites to get themselves elected, so they're going to start poking on taxes again. We're going to focus on the rich. We're going to focus on, you know, the people we hear about on TV that aren't paying their share and this and that and the other thing. So we're living in a world of flux. And the hurry is, we know your situation right now. We know what the tax situation is right now. We know what your income situation right now. Let's start planning today. Because I'd hate to have to plan under duress.
Yes.
You know, I think one of the biggest things is we think back to movies you've watched or things like that. The hero doesn't freeze, but his sidekick does sometimes, right? Or her sidekick does. And I think it's important for us to recognize that that's the way a lot of people make decisions too, is, okay, I'm going to think about it. I need to think about it. I need to think about it. If it makes sense and it helps, you should do it now because the rules might change. I think about, we hear about, is a Roth conversion always going to be there? I think for the time being it will, but we've heard that backdoor Roth might go away or things might change. So again, take advantage of the rules we have now. So that's really the hurry, is we know what we know today and we want to make sure that it's there.
Okay.
Actually, another example would be like Social Security.
Okay.
We were doing events for clients in the past handful of years, full events solely on Social Security, because we could fill an hour, maybe two, of information. Well, now all the clever filing strategies are gone, and the way Social Security works is they give you the best every time you file. So if you file at 65, you're getting the best version of the 65-year-old payout as possible. So if you're a spouse, you're going to automatically get the spousal top-up. If you're XYZ, you know, all of those things are changing. The people that got grandfathered in are able to do these fun filing strategies. Wouldn't you have hated to miss that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, Cory, is it always about the plan?
It's not always about the plan, but I can tell you why a plan makes sense. I've got a client. They're a wonderful family, but the wife just got diagnosed with some early onset dementia. She has forgetful days already. They're retired early, and they had a plan. They had a plan of 30 years in retirement. We had to flip it. He was in a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about, well, what's her I don't like the term bucket list, but what are like the things, the memories you two want to make while she's ambulatory so she can walk around, while she can remember and have good days? Let's front load your spending. And then we modeled it and we said, you're still going to be okay. You know, and we're even planning for some care. So a plan allows us to do that. Imagine how helpless they felt when they get the diagnosis. And then last thing he's thinking about is money.
Of course.
And then, boy, how do we make our time together better? A plan gives him the permission to do that.
Yeah.
Gives them the permission to do that. And that's a huge deal. So again, why the hurry? Have a plan today so you can do the things tomorrow.
And again, it's providing peace of mind to your clients, which you cannot put a price tag on, because there's nothing more important than being able to sleep well at night, knowing that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay.
Absolutely. Just think about the sources of information that we have now. The news. Pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
This one hates on this one hates on the other. Nope, I'm going to social media. That's where I'm getting my news. Well, it's owned, moderated, you know, algorithms tell us what we get. So it's hard to find even good information, and it's really easy to worry.
Yeah.
Because everybody, even myself, right? I'm on TV right now. We all have an angle. I want to help people plan.
Sure.
There are people that are trying to sell you things because that's what they sell, whether it makes sense in your policy or in your plan or not.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just kind of consider that, and having a plan, even though I want you to hurry up and make a plan, allows us to relax, to put it in cruise control a little bit, and move when we need to or where we want to.
All right.
And that's peace of mind that a lot of our clients are happy to have.
What can people do about it if they don't have a plan, Cory? Where can they go for help?
Right here.
Okay.
But I would say find an advisor. Most of us are going to give you a complimentary conversation to get things started. You're more than welcome to start looking at the internet if you want to. But again, you are getting, if you Google or if you search for a question that's specifically on required minimum distributions, it's the only thing they're going to talk about. They're not talking about how they affect Social Security. They're not going to talk about, boy, did you know that you could give that required minimum distribution to a charity through a qualified charitable distribution? So you take care of your RMD but don't pay taxes, right? So you're only getting bits of information, and it's our job, or an advisor's job, or a planner's job, to step back, look at all the things, because every decision you make with your money, it's like dominoes. It affects the next. It affects the next dollar. Like
Sure.
An analogy or a picture, I think in pictures a lot of the time. I think about sandcastles. All right? You go to a beach, mom and dad, father and kid, whatever, we're making a sandcastle. And it's a fancy blob, right? We got some stuff on it. But then you look at a professional. The professional's using sand, but they can make these monstrosities that are incredible.
It's true.
Well, they've got tools, they've got glue, they've got wood, they've got hammers, they've got more. So I'm not saying you don't have access to that on your own or when you're searching, but professionals, they've got the stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really technical term, but they've got the stuff that can help people make the decisions.
Absolutely. And Cory, what does it feel like when someone comes into your office for the very first time if they want to have a plan designed for them?
Yeah, well, hopefully it feels like home. We've got round tables in our office, so it's kind of like we're at the kitchen table. We just have a conversation. We're getting to know you, you're getting to know us. We're gathering important bits of information, because what we need to do is project out and see what your situation is going to look like. And from there, we can do some planning. So we always want it to be a nice, easy conversation, something that's friendly and something that's really helpful.
Any documents they should bring with them, Cory, on the first visit?
Yeah, we always love to see people's investment statements, but it's really important that you realize that we need to see the positions. And that means the stuff you're in, the investments, the tickers, so we can look those up. Every investment has its own risk, and we want to put them together in the best way possible for you. I think in the end, we're always looking to educate more than anything and leave you better than we found you.
Absolutely. Well, Cory, I know you have a very special offer to present to the viewers at home. Let's talk about what that is again before we reopen the phone lines.
Yeah, I think it's a chance to call in and have that first appointment with us. We want to do an investment analysis for you, see what your risk tolerance is, see what the expenses are, see what your income might be in the future. And that's what you'd be agreeing to by making this phone call. Give us a call and set up some time.
Cory, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-406-8011. We know you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. Cory has the answers for you. All you have to do is call in today, 844-406-8011. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to ClearPath to Retirement. My name is Cynthia 𝗱𝙁 and I'm joined today by Cory 𝗍𝙗𝘁. He is the founder of ClearPath Wealth Advisors. Cory, a wonderful show we're having today, talking about, of course, such an important topic, planning properly for retirement. Let's talk in this last segment about some red flags that you see. What about if there's no plan? Is that a red flag?
Yeah, it is a flag. You know, 20 years ago, I never would have thought I would have gotten this excited about talking about financial planning and how to move things around. But now I think it's just such an important thing for people to have a plan. And it doesn't have to make it this big, big piece of paper gilded in gold or something like that. You just need to understand how your money works together. Like we've been trumpeting this whole session, it's important to have a plan so we can react. We can react appropriately. So yeah, I think it's really important to have a plan. And you know, I think it's something like less than 50% of people actually have a financial plan. That means half the people you see out there, they're walking into tomorrow not knowing where their next dollar is going to come from or how it affects their taxes or whatever else. And that's kind of scary.
Absolutely. What about not saving regularly enough? Is that a flag?
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's the beauty of a 401k is it's forced savings. It's not forced, you elect. But what I have found is most people, when it hits their bank account, it's time to buy something. You know, we live in a world where debt is important, so we can have the things that we saw on TV or drive the thing that looks better than the next vehicle or things like that. And I think it's really important to save automatically. Create an account that you're not going to touch.
Yeah.
Or have an investment account that you will not touch until you need to. This is forcing us to put money aside for when we need it.
Perfect. Absolutely. Cory, what about having all of your money in one investment, all of your eggs in one basket?
That's a concern too, right? Because most mutual funds or things like that, they have other investments inside of them. So it's not like having this one mutual fund doesn't mean you don't have a little taste of 150. But what I worry about is like a client that has half their money in their company stock. I'm glad that you're fully loaded on your company, and I think it makes a ton of sense. But maybe we should pull some of those earnings away. Maybe we should move it to something that's diversified, because if you have all of your investments in one or two or three things, what happens when one or two or three of those things go backwards or when they change? Now you're putting your whole livelihood, your whole future in jeopardy to a degree. So again, by having a little bit of diversification, paying attention to taxes, it allows us to create an easier financial experience for a client, I think.
Absolutely. And Cory, what about with not meeting with a financial advisor? What if they don't have a financial advisor? Yeah,
so there's a couple different, I think, ideas around this question.
Okay.
One is, I have an advisor, but we don't meet regularly. We get the newsletter, we get a phone call, you know, maybe that's enough. Or if I don't have an advisor, where are you getting updates? Where are you getting perspective from? Where are you getting new ideas from? And I think it's really important that as your situation changes, that there's somebody looking at your situation and trying to make the right changes along with you, because as we know, life has no plan. You know, you wake up the next day, you don't know you know, in Minnesota right now, we've had an incredible spring.
Yeah.
Lots of snow, lots of rain, lots of cold. It's not fun. You know, it should be the time where flowers are blooming and they're hiding still. And it's kind of like that with our lives and our finances. We need to know that it's going to change.
What about supporting other people financially? How can that be a red flag for someone's retirement?
This is always an interesting one. As parents, as grandparents, we want to do our best to support our children and our grandchildren, and sometimes that's going to be college. Sometimes it's going to be buying a first house or a wedding ring or something like that. These are all noble causes. The problem is I see people go into debt or even go through most of their savings to put their children into college. I know education debt isn't a great place to be, but there's a lot of creative ways to fund college and things like that. You cannot give away your future just to take care of somebody else right now. So you need to consider that. And with planning, having an idea, you might find a creative way to do this or finance that or use life insurance or whatever else to kind of find a way to fund it. The biggest thing there is just knowing that you don't know how long you have. We have to plan for longer.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense. That makes sense. What about people that are carrying debt into retirement? We only have about a minute and a half left of the show this week, but what are your thoughts on that, Cory?
Well, debt when you lose, when your job goes away, it's a heavier burden on you. You know, but there is still good debt. You know, a lot of people want to get rid of their mortgage right away because now I got an extra $1,500 a month. You're probably going to spend that $1,500 a month, so you really don't have it. Your mortgage is good debt, but the problem is if you have toxic debt, big credit card payments or things with high interest rates, these can be a big drain on you. So as you're getting ready to retire, really getting planful on your debt could be a great decision because as you bring that into retirement, it's only going to put more and more stress on you and your money.
That makes perfect sense. Do you advise paying down high interest credit cards first overall, Cory?
There's a couple different ways that you can look at debt. Certainly one of the ways is just to attack the highest interest rate. Another way is to attack the lowest dollar amount. So there's a handful, just get one away and then you can start snowballing. So you take that payment and you add it to the next payment until that one's gone. You take those two and you add it to the next one. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to get through it, but have a plan.
All right. Cory, we have 40 seconds of the show left today. Any final words of wisdom you want to give the viewers at home?
Sure. Well, one, thanks for paying attention. I know that this is a lot of different topics in a lot of different ways, and we appreciate your attention. I'd like to thank the folks back at the ClearPath office as well. We love serving the families that we work with, and we look forward to speaking with any of those who want to.
Cory, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, thank you for spending time with us today. That number is 844-406-8011. Any questions you have for Cory about planning your perfect retirement, he has the answers for you. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. See you back 1 week from today.